Good morning. I'm up here in far western Alaska. Nice fall day. Moose hunting started the other day, and there's been quite a few moose already killed out of this village. And we're on problem number 5, I believe it is. And it's called Follow the Bouncing Ball. And as we start thinking about this, let's start over. As we think about this, this is my new iPad Pro. My pencil, I had to charge it this morning, and that's why it's a little bit later than crack of dawn. So the idea is we have a ball, and we drop the ball. And the rule is, as you drop the ball, the ball hits the ground. The ball bounces up about half the height. The ball continues to bounce back down and up. And each time, the ball only goes half its height. And the problem says on the 5th time, how far did the ball travel? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5, and it hits the ground right here. So the problem said we dropped it from 160 feet. So that means the second mark right here is 80 feet. The third mark is half of that, 40 feet. Then a 20 feet. And then a 10 feet. The words they used in there were words like vertical. So right now we're looking at how far down did the ball bounce. So we add this up, we total it up in our down bucket. It says that we already know we have 31. And we carried the 3, and we end up with 410. I believe that's right. Let me check that math. 14 and 7. That doesn't add up. Okay. So maybe we'll have to start over on the adding part. Let's see here. We have 12, and we have 8 is 20. And we ended up with 22. So let me refresh that. Technology is amazing. Better than my math. So let me make sure again. We have 10, 22. Okay. So let me back this up and start over this morning. Good morning from Tuntatuliak, Alaska. I'm working on problem number 5, chapter 1, Following the Bouncing Ball. And it says a ball drops from 160 feet. And we're coming down, and we hit the bottom. It says at that point, the ball bounces back half its height from which it's dropped. So we're going to bounce back up to 80 feet. And from there, it says the ball continues to bounce, and each time, it's about half its height. So we're bouncing, and now it says that we're supposed to do this 5 times, and as we can count on the bottom, we have 3 right now. And then bounce halfway. I'm not using the graph lines. I'm just drawing. And then halfway, we have 4. This is it. 5. Okay, so now it says calculate the vertical distance. So the first one was the 160 feet. And the last one, we'll get there right now. So this one is 80, 40, these peaks. Half of that is 20, and the last one is 10. And do we have the 5 at the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we do. So we total those up. We'll go back to black for that. And we get 0 in the first one. And now on this one we have a 6 and a 4 is 10, an 8 and a 2 is 10. So that's 22 left over is 22. So the down drops are 22. The 222. 220. I'm sorry. It's early here. Okay. The thing said the vertical height. So now we have to add the up bounces. So we know that the first bounce was a drop. We don't count that. The second up box was 80. Then 40. Then 20. And then, well, actually, we're going to have to do this again, aren't we? Well, that's the fortune of having a setup like this. We can just erase it all. Good morning, nice beautiful morning up here in Tuntatuliak, Alaska. We're out on the west coast. Moose hunting season opened the other day. Lots of people of the village have their moose in the freezer already, and they've been giving it out. So the problem here is number 5. And number 5 out of the book says, follow the bouncing ball. And as you can see over here on the right, my calculations from a previous trial. This is trial number about 4 or 5. You would think you'd get it right one of those times. So they say, follow the vertical distance of a ball dropped from 160 feet. And we do that. We say 160 feet is this line on the left and the ball drops. And we hit the bottom. We count to the 5th drop. And it says add the total vertical distance. So here we go. 160 feet. Bounces down. That's one whole drop. Bounces up half of that to 80. Back down it bounces, and back up half the distance to 40. And lastly, bounces back up half the distance to 20. And lastly, unaccounted for, the 5th drop to 10. Okay, so it says add the vertical distance, and we take our pencil and we add them up. 160, 80, 40, 20, 10. Now we can combine this 6 and the 4, and we get a 10. Then we can combine the 8 and the 2 and get another 10. So we have 10, 20, and we have 2 ones is 22. Okay, that's the vertical drop. Down. What about the vertical bounce? Back up. So our first number was, as it dropped, it came back up to the 80 mark. So our new number is 80. Then we had a 40, a 20. So clever, these new instruments here. And then a 10. We add that up. Is that correct? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 up bounces. We have a 0. Now here again we combine the 8 and the 2 is 10. And then we have 5 left over, so that's 15. We take and we total those two as all the bounces. and we get a total of 370 feet. The up bounces total 370 feet for number 5. Problem number 5. It'd be a fun thing to do if our kids could stand on top of the school, but there's no other trees or anything 160 feet out here except the windmill tower. So thank you for watching.